Dear viewers, welcome to this episode of Your Life, Your Money. Retirement is a subject which is very close to my heart. And we have worked with so many retirees and we have seen what goes right and what goes wrong in their life. Based on my experience, today I am going to tell you about 9 ways retirees may lose their retirement corpus fully or to a great extent. Stay till the end of this video. Get a knowledge about what might go wrong which may cause you to deplete or lose your retirement corpus. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Let's look at 9 ways the retirees might deplete the retirement corpus or staring at losing that retirement corpus, which is very essential for rest of the retired life. Let's look at them one by one. Number 1, buying the unwanted properties. Most retirees are salaried people. They are used to living from paycheck to paycheck. They do not have an experience of handling a larger chunk of money. And when they retire, a big chunk of money comes to them in the form of maturity of policies, gratuities, PPF, NPS, whatever it is, they see a big chunk of money coming into their accounts. They become very itchy. The easiest way they can deploy this money is buying into the property. Advice is full in the family and friend circle. Somebody wants to sell his plot, somebody wants to sell his property, and the retirees can become a scapegoat of these people who want to sell this. And they say they can have rent during their retired life. They end up buying properties that they don't need. Do not get into this trap. Properties, if you buy, they have to be maintained. You have to pay taxes. You are getting older. You have to fight with tenant. The good side of property is that it gives you rents, and the rents are inflation proof. I agree on that. But if you buy a property which is residential in nature, the rents you get is minuscule, which is just about 2 to 3% of your purchase price. Instead of that, if you keep it in a bank, it makes better sense for you to get hold of your money as well as better yield. So when you have retirement corpus, avoid buying unwanted properties. Number 2, lending money to the third parties. Now you are a retired person. The whole world knows that you have got a retirement corpus at your disposal. Each person has his own agenda for you. Your friends, your relatives, the businessmen around you, everyone has an agenda for you. They will come and say, I'll pay you a higher rate of return. Why don't you park this money with me? The businessman says so. There are relatives who will tell you this. There are friends who may make use of this kind of an opportunity. You have to be very conscious and you should completely shun them. You say, I cannot take this decision. You can tell them 100 reasons why you can't do it, but do not fall into the trap of lending money to the third parties. They may lure you to give you a higher rate of return. But when you are retired, remember you are on a passive income. You don't have an active income. You don't get the salary every day. If your friend does not give money, what is the risk course that you have? One, you lose friendship. Second thing, you will end up as a litigation in the court of law. The similar things may happen with your relatives. You may lose your relationship. You can't get the money. In case of a businessman, if the businessman goes for a loss, then you can't recover your principal or the interest what he has promised. Completely avoid lending money to third parties, whoever could be. This is the biggest danger you will be staring at. Don't get lured by the returns they offer for you. Number 3, gifting money to your adult children. Now you are a retired person, you see a big chunk of money, and as parent you want to become heroes in front of your children, and you want to gift that money to your children for the car that they buy, for the house that they want to buy, or for any other reason. You say, so much of money is you, my son, so much of money is you, my daughter. You can say, and you can deplete your retirement corpus. Don't try to become a hero in front of your children. You have a long life ahead. It's a long journey. The more the money you have as a retirement corpus, it is better. If I look at the lives of a lot of people who have come to me, I can say for certain not many people will have adequate amount of corpus that is required for a good retired life going forward. Therefore, avoid the temptation to gift large chunks of money to your children for whatever the reason it is. Number 4, clearing the outsized education loans. These days, education has become a business. It calls for enormous amounts of money for your children to complete that education. If they have got good scores, they may get a scholarship. Otherwise, if you have ended up taking an education loan, and by the time the education loan becomes due for repayment, you are retired, do not attempt to clear this loan using your retirement corpus. The responsibility of clearing this loan is primarily that of your children. They are adults now, they are earning their monies, they don't have family responsibilities, they don't get married so soon. Encourage your children to pay this education loan themselves. Don't be under the impression that I suffered in my life during my childhood, my children should not suffer. They are not suffering. They are discharging their responsibilities. In the later part of their life, when they buy their house, they pay the housing loan. When they buy a car, they pay for the car loan. Instead of pursuing the education, had they started the business, they would have paid for this business from the profits of the business. Now you think education is also a business and you have invested in this. The primary responsibility of clearing this loan is the earning adult children. You have to inculcate in their mind at the time of their studies itself, be careful with your money, and the responsibility of clearing this loan lies on you. I cannot risk my retirement. Instead of this, you try and use your retirement corpus and pay for this education loan. Multiple problems can happen. One, you will not have the required amount of money. You can't ask your children. Your children, till they get married, will remain as your children. Once they are married, there is a spouse at home and the decisions can't be taken alone. So they have to do it in consultation. For any reason, if the relations do not remain cordial, you will end up on the receiving end. So do not do this mistake. Always tell your child to pay for this education loan himself. Government has also done a phenomenal work. Education loans can be cleared over longer periods of time. It need not be cleared in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Government has given more than 15 years time for you to clear this education loan. Your child can easily pay off for this particular loan, and do this exercise before you take an education loan. Those of you who are watching this episode, if you are still not retired, always at the time of taking an education loan, inform your child the responsibility of clearing this loan is yours and not you as a parent, it's yours. Number 5, chasing returns. Chasing returns is trying to find where I get the highest return and moving money towards that particular instrument or that particular asset class. It could be stocks, it could be small cap stocks, it could be a micro cap stock, it could be a penny stock, it could be a dangerous mutual fund scheme, it could be anything. Chasing returns is the lure to get that extra return by taking that risk. When you are retired, remember one thing, you are not in a wealth creation phase. You are in a wealth preservation phase and a wealth distribution phase. Wealth preservation is you have accumulated this retirement corpus over your last 25-30 years of work life. This has to come when you don't have an income. So the capital preservation is the primary thing that you have to attempt. Return is not something that you should be too much worried. Safety of capital becomes very important. More than the return on capital, the return of capital becomes very important. Do not chase return. Do not run behind what is the fashion of the day. It could be a mid-cap stock, mid-cap investment, small-cap investment. That is all not for you. Remain in the safe zone. If you have to take a risk, demarcate the boundaries. Put a condition that I will not expose more than certain amount of money. Don't take all your retirement corpus and chase return and feel sorry at a later point of time. Deposits in only one bank or deposits in small cooperative bank, the outcome will be similar. When I say deposit in only one bank, when you have a retirement corpus, make sure that you park this money at least in 2 banks. The bank could be private sector bank or it could be a public sector bank. It should be a large bank and it should have good IT infrastructure. Why I say it should be a large bank? The large banks normally will not have any particular problem. They have got the size, they are too big to fail, and they can withstand any of the things that are happening in the economy. It's unlikely that something can go wrong. However, you can't say the same thing with a small bank. You can definitely not say that with a cooperative bank. Every year you see one or the other bank going belly up, particularly the cooperative bank. So they do give you a higher rate of return. Don't get lured by the higher return they give. Instead, be very safe. Why you should keep it in 2 banks? The The reason is very simple. For any reason, if there were to be an issue with one of the bank, at least some portion of your money is parked in the other bank. Let's say the bank will not go belly up, but if there is a Reserve Bank action which calls for prompt corrective action, and the Reserve Bank can freeze the accounts of that bank till the remedy is found out, you will not have the money which is required for you. So in your best interest, spread this money into two different banks, the large banks, and completely avoid the cooperative bank. And if you are a person who has a good relationship with the cooperative bank, you find it difficult to say no to somebody in that bank, and you want to park some money into that, make sure have an exposure control, put a small amount of money. If something were to go wrong, it will not materially impact your retired life. That should be your approach. Number 7, do not subscribe to any chits. Chits are very popular in India. Every village, every township, every community runs a chits. So people exchange money in the form of chits. If they want money, they draw from the chits. So this is very popular form, but it is unregulated. Many times it gives rise to all kind of unwanted things which are happening. Either the promoter of the chit may run away with the money, or people who have borrowed money from the chit may not repay that money, and it is beyond the means of the promoter to pay back all the subscribers. This is something which is a story which happens again and again and again in different places. If you are a retired person, don't get into any messy affair with the chit funds. You are not looking at a return. You are not trying to impress anyone by becoming a member of the chit. So completely avoid the chits in any form. Number 8, spending exorbitant amount of money on your children's wedding. See, if you are a person who is rich, who can afford, if it does not affect your retired life in any way, it's a call that you take. How do you want to do the marriage of your children? That's perfectly fine. But over 90% of the people have limited amount of money. They are worried whether I have enough money to retire or not. Amidst this uncertainty, if you spend an exorbitant amount of money in the weddings, what happens? It is your retired life which will be put into jeopardy. People will come, they'll enjoy the satkar that you give them, and they walk away, they forget it. Your children will just forget about it. But you have to go through the after effects of these exorbitant marriages. The best way is, one, you can ask your children to fund their marriage expenses themselves. Yes, in case of boys you can do it sometimes. In the case of girls it becomes difficult. Understandable. There is a way the society conducts itself. You may find it difficult to say, I can't do it. But you can become a modern day person. You can say, I promote simple marriages. Try doing this. It is not something that you put your head down in shame. You can become a modern guy and say, we believe in simple marriages. Try to spend lesser amount of money. If you can't do certain things, you can downsize it. You can stop giving unwanted gifts. You can avoid that pompous nature of marriages and try and save your retirement corpus. If you have already planned well and you have kept money separately for marriage, which has nothing to do with your retirement, that's fine. But you do your calculations correctly, how it will impact you. If it is going to impact you, if you have to choose between a very pompous marriage versus a simple marriage, I would suggest think about the simple marriage and become an example for the rest of the people. Number 9, online frauds. Retirees are a sitting duck for the fraudsters. The retirees have an eyesight issue. Retirees are not used to see the technical jargon what these fraudsters use. Somebody sends you a message, somebody sends you a link, and you end up clicking on the link, and your bank amount, whatever that you have, you may lose completely. The best way is, do not click any links. Make best use of some youngsters in the family. Again, I'm using this in a very responsible way. These youngsters are to be the dependable ones. You should trust them. Otherwise, the youngsters at your own close proximity can become a point of risk for you. One advice that I can tender for the retired persons is, as I said, have money in two different banks. One bank where you do not operate anything online. Keep the maximum amount of money there where you have no online access. The rest of the account you can transfer from that bank to one bank and keep that only the amount which is that you need for a month's time or your day-to-day thing. If something were to go wrong, at the most you may lose that 1 month's money that you have kept in that particular bank. Another way you can avoid these online frauds is make your payments using the credit cards. The credit cards have got the limits with it. So if something were to go wrong, you can have a limitation and the credit card company will not allow payments beyond that particular limit. So use credit card, keep a minimum limit, use 2 banks. In only one bank you keep the minimal amount that you need. All your banking you do only through this bank where you have kept lesser amount of money. Dear viewers, we do retirement planning for our clients. We handle clients from multiple countries, more than 60 countries. We have designed retirement cash flows for a lot of people. If you are somebody who is looking out to build your retirement corpus or build your retirement cash flows, you can make best use of services provided by NRI Money Clinic. We have team of experts on the ground who understand every aspect of retirement planning. These are experienced people. They have spent enough time. They have seen the lives of many people. They know what goes right, what goes wrong. If you have that intention, all that you have to do is send us a WhatsApp message on the number that we have given you in the description box below. For ease of doing, we have also provided a link there. Just click on the link and it will take you to the WhatsApp. Send an exploratory message to us and our team of experts are ever ready to help you on that. Why delay? Send that message now. Dear viewers, hope the video that I have done today helped you to understand the 9 possible ways where you might lose your retirement corpus without intention. Be careful about this. If it helped you to avoid these pitfalls, do give me a thumbs up. If you're a person who hasn't subscribed for my channel till now, please hit that subscribe button right now and press the bell icon. Do not forget to share these videos with your near and dear ones, friends and relatives, and on all the WhatsApp groups on which you are connected with. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another episode of Your Life, Your Money next Friday. Till then, stay safe. Jai Hind.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.